Hello guys, how are you doing? I hope you had a lovely week. Myself, I had a fantastic one. Thank God. Thank you so much for stopping by today. And I would also like to thank you so much to all my subscribers. I really don't take it for granted. And if you're watching this video today and you have not subscribed, kindly give me your subscription and I really appreciate it. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about forgiveness. We are going to see what forgiveness is and what forgiveness is not. So remember last week we spoke about trauma and we touched a little bit about forgiveness. But today we are going to see what really forgiveness is. So kindly stay with me until the end of the video. So we're going to begin with what forgiveness is not. Number one, forgiveness is not approval of what someone did. It is not approval of what they did. Yes, you choose to forgive them, but it does not give them approval that what they did to you was right. But despite of that, you choose to forgive them. Number two, it is not excusing what they did. No one can give excuses of what they have done to you. If it is a wrong, it is a wrong. So when you choose to forgive them, it does not mean that it is an excuse or they have given an excuse of what they did. No, but you have chosen to forgive them. Number three, it is not justifying what they did. You cannot justify the wrong that you have done. When I choose to forgive you, it does not mean that it is because you're able to justify that. You cannot justify a wrong. But when I choose to forgive you, it is because I want peace from inside myself. Another thing is that forgiveness is not pardoning what they did. When you forgive someone, it does not just mean you have just pardoned, but you have chosen to seek peace for yourself. Again, forgiveness is not reconciliation. You can choose to forgive someone, but it does not mean that you have reconciled. For instance, if you wrong me, or if someone wrongs you, they might not even seek for that forgiveness from you, which means you have not reconciled with that person. But despite that, you still choose to forgive. Why? Because you want peace for yourself. You want that inner peace. Another thing is that forgiveness is not denying what they did. No, they cannot deny what they did. Yes, they did wrong to you, and because you choose to forgive them, it does not mean that they have denied, and that is why you have chosen to forgive them. Remember, a sin is a sin, and so if someone has done something wrong to you and you choose to forgive them, it does not mean that because they denied, they might even deny it. They might not feel that they deserve to ask for that forgiveness. They might think that they are not wrong at all, but you still choose to forgive them. Forgiveness is not blindness to what happened. No, it does not mean that you cannot see what really happened. It does not mean that you don't recognize what happened. You're not blind to what happened, but you still choose to forgive because you want inner peace. Forgiveness is not forgetting. Remember, you can forgive someone, but it does not mean that the wrong they did, that you have really forgotten it. Maybe it is something that costs you to have a scar for a lifetime that you will be seeing every time. So this will often maybe remind you of what happened, but you still choose to forgive. Forgiveness is not pretending we are not hurt. When I choose to forgive you, or when you choose to forgive someone, it does not mean that you are not hurt. I cannot pretend that I am not hurt. But despite the fact that I am hurt, you did something to me and it really hurts me, but I choose to forgive you because I want to have peace with myself. I do not want to keep holding grudges because it will even hurt me more and more. So we are also going to look at, that was what forgiveness is not. Now we are going to look at what forgiveness is. Number one, forgiveness is being aware of what someone has done and still forgive them. I am aware of what you did to me, or you are aware of what someone did to you, but you choose to forgive them because you want to have peace with yourself. Forgiveness is choosing to keep no record of wrong. When I forgive you, it means that I do not want to keep holding you. It means I want to heal, because remember, when I keep that record of wrong, or when you choose to keep the record of wrongs that someone has done to you, you keep hurting yourself. But when you choose to forgive, it means that you're going to receive that inner healing within yourself, and that inner healing comes with peace. Remember that. Forgiveness is refusing to punish. Remember last week when we spoke about trauma, and we touched a little bit about going the legal way. So it goes along with refusing to punish. When we say refusing to punish, it means you can choose not to go the legal way. You can choose just to forgive someone and not go the legal way. Forgiveness is not telling what they did. When you forgive someone, you don't go telling people that you really forgive. Someone did this to you and you've forgiven them. That means you've not even forgiven them. When you forgive someone, you don't go telling what they did to you to other people. Forgiveness is being merciful. When you forgive someone, you're being merciful to them. You're giving them mercy. Forgiveness is graciousness. When you forgive someone, you give them grace. And remember, we said that grace is unmerited favor. When you give them grace, it means they do not deserve it, but you still choose to forgive them. Forgiveness is an inner condition. What does that mean? It means that when you forgive someone, you don't forgive because someone told you to forgive. You don't forgive because you're pushed to forgive, but you forgive because it comes from inside, deep inside your heart. You've chosen to forgive. Forgiveness is the absence of bitterness. When you forgive someone, it means you're done with bitterness. You're through with bitterness. You don't want to be bitter with someone, because when you keep bitterness in your heart, it is really going to hurt you. Actually, when you keep bitterness is very dangerous. Bitterness can hinder your blessings. Yes, it can. So when you forgive someone, it means you're over with that bitterness. You're no longer bitter with them. Forgiveness is forgiving God. What does forgiving God mean? Does that mean that God has wronged you? You remember last week, if you can remember, we spoke about what trauma was. When we defined trauma, we spoke about natural disaster. This natural disaster means it would be an accident, for instance. Something that it is not you who has caused it. It is not even your friend or a stranger who has caused it, but something that it is just natural, that it is beyond your control, beyond anyone else's control, that it is only God who can control it. Sometimes you might hold that bitterness in your heart, bitterness towards God. You might keep blaming God for what happened. So you need to forgive God for that. You need to let go of that, what happened. Forgiving or forgiveness is forgiving others. Forgiving others means you let go of everything that they have done to you. You choose to forgive, you choose to focus ahead and forget what happened. Yes, literally we said you cannot really forget that easily, but when you forgive from your heart, you don't keep that grudge. That is sort of forgetting, even though you will still remember it, because maybe it might be something that left a landmark behind, maybe something that left a scar that is reminding you. But when you choose to forgive, it means you have let go, and it means you have let God. And when you let God, He helps you to overcome every bitterness that is inside your heart. So thank you so much for staying with me until the end of the video. I really hope and pray that God will help us to forgive ourselves, to forgive others, and also to forgive God where we might think that maybe God was wrong in doing this. Maybe God might even do something that you never expected, and you keep blaming God every time. So let go and let God, and you'll be able to overcome all this unforgiveness and bitterness in your heart. I wish you all a lovely week, and thank you so much once again for stopping by. Thank you so much. Bye for now.